Well, good morning or good afternoon. Good afternoon. I don't know where I've been. It's late in the day and stuff, but welcome to the BFTAA and More show. And I am your host, Louis George Walker, as I'm running around here frantically trying to get things together to go on the air with you. You're listening to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association show on KUAW Radio. KUAW stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. So you're listening as a product of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and the WEB Du Bois Learning Center, who came together to form this radio station. So we broadcast on the web. This show is on every Monday from 5 to 5:45, and you can listen to KUAW on 24 hours a day on the audio-only side. If you go to the TuneIn app or Get Me Radio, the online radio box, or MyTuner, or if you have a Google or Amazon smart speaker, tell it to play KUAW radio, and you can hear us around the house as you clean up and stuff. That'll work. So when we're live, we're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and that's what I was trying to get up is Twitter, because for some reason, Twitter doesn't seem to want to connect. So I don't know if you can see me on Twitter right now, and you may not be able to, but I can't keep messing around with it trying to get it there. So the Twitter feed right now may be down, but we are broadcasting live on the Black Family Technology Awareness Association's Facebook page and on KUAW Radio's Facebook page. And if you go to YouTube and type in KUAW space radio, you can pick us up there also. So there's a lot of ways that you can hear this show, and we're just glad to be with you. Now, we've had an exciting weekend. Part of what the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is doing is building things back better. We're trying to come back from the pandemic and get ready to roll out the next school year with good programs for our young people. So we had a planning meeting this Saturday, and it was a very good meeting. We got some things lined out, and now we have to execute on some of the plans that we've already put out. So that's going to be the future thing we have to do. I got to turn off this monitor speaker. It's coming right back at me pretty loud. So yes, and those of you that are listening on the radio side, you're picking us up right now, and we're glad that you're here. Now, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We were started in 2004. So we're creeping on our 18th year and looking to make 20. If the good Lord is willing, we will get there. And we like to always try to get our families involved in technology. We want our youth involved in technology, but we want the whole family involved in technology, the mother, the father, all the siblings at home to be working around and knowing a little bit. You need to be digitally literate in this day and age, or else you're going to get left behind. And I was reading some information on that, is that we've got to make sure that we are closing that digital divide and starting in your own household. So if you're not familiar with the digital world, it's time to start learning. And you definitely want your kids to get involved with it. And playing with the tablets and the software on that is good, but you also should add some learning in there about what they're playing on. Coding, a little bit of mechanical engineering, electrical, science, all of that type of stuff that can probe their curiosity, not just to have another way to watch television or to watch cartoons or to play games, which there's nothing wrong with those, but we want to go a little bit deeper than that, where that we can be able to create games. All right, so we're going to talk about that a little bit today as we go into it. We'll also talk about the radio world and also about some of the shootings that are going on around Kansas City. I mean, it's been a pretty violent summer so far. I think they said they had 4 people shot or killed, might have been more than that, shot over this last weekend. These numbers have been, this is not new, and that's kind of the bad thing about it, is that it is something that we look at now that's not new. You watch the news and you see about some shootings or a couple people found dead in a car or something like that, and you just go on by it. You don't really talk to your friends about it, or you don't say, oh my goodness, or anything. It's kind of like we're getting numb to that fact of violence in the community, violence in the city, that these things are inevitable or they happen, and it's not inevitable. You know, it's the society that we're in right now. It's the culture that we're in right now. But it's not like it has to be this way. You know, it doesn't have to be this way. And we've got people, organizations, the community that looks at this, and there just needs to be more of us thinking, working, talking about what's going on in our communities. So hopefully we can stir that. We may not get to any answers today or just talk about what's going on, but we definitely need to look at the things that are happening in the community as far as it pertains to guns, gun violence, and really not just the guns or the gun violence, but the mindset. See, because it's the mindset. It's a lot of times we'll say, well, it's the guns and stuff, but yeah, what about the mindset? What makes you think it's okay to kill someone? What makes you want to kill someone and to live that type of lifestyle where that is okay? That's the thing that we have to look at also, not just the fact that people have guns, because guns have been around a long time, but everybody doesn't go around shooting and killing people. And we have to think about that because it's happening in such a large number that there's got to be some root cause to this, not maybe one cause, but some root causes to the violence that is going on in our community. But the Black Family Technology Awareness Association will look at that because there is science involved, the neuroscience working on the mind for young people that want to help fight this problem. There's a college pathway for that also. And we're about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that kind of covers the whole human experience. So one thing we do also like to do is tell you what's going on at NASA. NASA's been pretty busy this year. There's been a lot of things happening up in space, going to space, talking about being in space, and the like. So we want to look a little bit about things that are going on in NASA. That's something that we do every week, and we're going to start with this week at NASA. And then we're also going to do a space to ground. So let me see if I can get that ready for you, and we'll go into this week at NASA. Let's see. That's there. Here we go.
Looking to power surface exploration on the moon, new imagery from the surface of Mars, and our newest flight directors. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. NASA and the U.S. Department of Energy have selected 3 design concept proposals for a fission surface power system design that could be ready to launch on a demo mission to the moon by the end of the decade. Fission systems are relatively small, lightweight, and could enable continuous power regardless of location, available sunlight, or other environmental conditions. This technology would benefit future exploration under our Artemis program. For more information about NASA's investments in space technology, visit nasa.gov/spacetech. NASA's Curiosity Mars rover has spent the past year traveling through a transition zone on the red planet from a clay-rich region to one filled with a salty mineral called sulfate. Imagery captured of rock formations in this transition zone is visually stunning, but could also provide evidence that a major shift occurred in the planet's climate billions of years ago, which led to the dry conditions that we see today. Curiosity will celebrate its 10th year on Mars August 5th. For more information about Curiosity, visit nasa.gov/curiosity. NASA has 7 new flight directors. After completing a comprehensive training program, Heidi Brewer, Ronak Dave, Chris Dobbins, Garrett Hinn, Nicole McElroy, Elias Mirmo, and Diana Trujillo will oversee operations of the International Space Station, commercial crew, and Artemis missions to the moon. On June 18th, Howard University in Washington, D.C. hosted a screening of the NASA documentary, The Color of Space. The documentary features thought-provoking conversation between current and former Black astronauts, recounting the influences and inspirations that put them on the path to NASA and what they experienced on their journeys to the agency. Some of the astronauts also gave advice and shared personal stories of hope and resilience to students who have aspirations of following in their footsteps. The 50-minute documentary is available for free to the public on NASA TV, the NASA app, NASA social media channels, and the agency's website. Vice President Kamala Harris and Second Gentleman Douglas Emhoff recently hosted an event at the Naval Observatory that included NASA STEM education activities for military families and local students and their families. The event also featured a special screening of the Disney Pixar film Lightyear. Several current NASA astronauts attended the event, including Tom Marshburn, who was the NASA technical consultant on the film, Stephanie Wilson, and Jasmine Mogbelli. Former astronaut and NASA Associate Administrator for Education, Leland Melvin, was also there. Our Office of STEM Engagement seeks to attract and engage a diverse group of students to STEM fields, to contribute to NASA's work, and to build a diverse future STEM workforce. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/TWAN.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Chelsea Bayarte. Fireworks weren't the only lights in the sky this July. A SpaceX Cargo Dragon spacecraft has launched and is making its way to the International Space Station. SpaceX's 25th Commercial Resupply Services mission launched off the coast of Florida at 8:44 p.m. Eastern on July 14th. Our Cargo Dragon spacecraft is carrying dozens of new experiments to the orbiting laboratory. We're sending immune cells to seek new methods to treat immune system aging, an imaging spectrometer that will measure the effects of mineral dust on our planet, and a student gene experiment that could lay the foundation for downstream applications of biosensors for space exploration and resource-limited settings on Earth. Another experiment hitching a ride on the station is Beaver Cube, a small satellite expected to take color images of the oceans and thermal images of cloud tops. Collecting data on the temperatures of both could help scientists learn more about Earth's climate and weather. The spacecraft is set to arrive at the space station on July 16th. It's expected to dock around 11:20 a.m. Eastern, but we'll be live in mission control following the operation starting at 10. Be sure to catch the autonomous docking on NASA TV, your NASA app, or follow the mission on social media. If anyone were to go dumpster diving aboard the International Space Station, they might find items like packing material, dirty clothes, office supplies, and hygiene products. And that's exactly what made up the 172 pounds of trash eliminated during a test. Last week, our partners at NanoRacks tried out a new method of taking out the trash, and it was the first open-close cycle of the Bishop airlock. The process is simple. The astronauts fill the waste container, and the trash bag is released to burn up in Earth's atmosphere. The empty container is then remounted, ready for more. Even though the astronauts are busy getting ready for their upcoming cargo delivery, they still made time to catch a glimpse of the first images of the James Webb Space Telescope. NASA astronauts Kjell Lindgren, Bob Hines, and Jessica Watkins took to Twitter to share their excitement. Lindgren said it best, "They're absolutely breathtaking." That's all for today on Space to Ground. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week.
Okay, there. Now you can hear me. All right, that was Space to Ground and what was going on with it and what's happening out there. I was getting a little background noise going on here. We got a portable air conditioner in the new studio that's running, so if you hear some humming noise in the background, that's what that would be, is the portable air conditioner that we have that's going, and we're trying to get it cooled off in here. I tell you, when you come in, and nobody's been in the studio today. I came in about 4:30 and turned it on, and it's working to cool it down. It says it's 86 in here right now, so we're trying to dry it out and cool it down, but it's a little sweaty, and we're going to continue to work with it, though. So, yeah, we're doing some new things. Me and a friend of mine, Professor Smooth Jazz, who works on the radio station, We extended our studio table. We're making some room to make it a little more solid so that the cameras don't shake. That is one thing that we're trying to do to improve the video quality, and I'm looking at getting some new cameras to bring in on that also. So we're going to be working to continually improve. And also in the meeting that we had planning for our 2022-2023 school year, we're going to refurbish a room. We've got a new robotics room here at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, and we have to clean it up, fix it up, and lay it out to be a first-class lab for robotics, for science and technology. So that's the program that we're going to be working with. We're going to be raising funds as we get a design done for this room. But we really want this room to be set up so that kids can come in and have a good experience and working with things. We've been working in classrooms and kind of makeshift of how we're doing our robotics, but now we want to start designing a space that is made for working on robotics and made for 3D printing, experimenting, and those type of things. So we're working on a science technology room. This will be the first one, and we may even have a second one as this one gets built. But we're going to be reaching out. If you know a designer, if you know people that are used to designing classroom spaces, we've been checking online. I've been looking up some stuff to see how we will design this room for, as efficiently as possible. And yeah, money is an object. We don't say we got unlimited cash, but we want to make this room, and I'm from the floor up, from pulling up the flooring to putting down the floor. That would be what we need, doing the walls, the shelving, getting the right tables, the work surfaces for the kids, the lab equipment, tool cases, all of that we want to make sure we have in this room. So if you know somebody that has worked on classrooms or designed some classrooms for science, for technology work, a robotics type of lab, have them contact us. We'd love to talk to them about it and see if they can help us with the designs that we're looking at for the BFTAA robotics program. So we're going to start the year with a VEX robotics program, and we're also looking for volunteers who would like to help coach. We've got our lead coach, Mr. Miguel Fernandez, but we'd like to have 2 or 3 assistant coaches to work with him. We're going to probably work with 10 to 12 kids in this robotics class. So if we could get 3 or 4 more coaches to work with them, it would be great. So if you know somebody that would like to work with the VEX robotics program, that has an interest in just learning about it, they don't have to be a robotic worker right now, but if they'd like to get involved and see what we do and how they maybe can help out, have them contact the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. You can reach us at the phone number here at the station, 816-599-6893. That's 816-599-6893. Also, I've got the chat line open right now if you want to post somebody up there, if you want to send us something through Messenger to tell us about someone you know, or if you would like to volunteer, we definitely would love to have you. That's our big push now, is to make sure we get volunteers in to help the young people and develop them into the future technologists, scientists, engineers, future thinkers that can be a benefit to our community. So we'd love to meet with anybody you know that may be interested in helping us with that. I was looking at the chat. I don't see anything up there right now. I want to make sure it's still coming through. Yep, we're still connected on the KUAW main feed, as you see up there. So if you'd like to chat with us, our chat line is open. All you have to do is go to KUAW-radio on Facebook, and you can put a question in, a comment, anything that you want to. I'll see it come up on the screen. We can talk about it right then. So this is thoroughly interactive. Also, that's one thing we're looking at, too, is expanding our footprint as working with STEM City USA to where we can be part of the metaverse, and we're going to become more interactive with people coming to the KUAW site, to the Black Family Technology Awareness site. So help us out. We're always looking for help. There's no volunteer organization around that I know of that says they don't need any volunteers. So I want to always put that out there. Now, I went to a meeting the Kansas City Digital Inclusion Coalition had a couple weeks ago. It was a good meeting. People from, I think it was Century Cities, New Century Cities, something like that. But they are talking about the broadband initiative, this broadband infrastructure bill that is going on right now with the money that the administration got allotted and Congress and Senate passed through to update the infrastructure. And, you know, we have to look at that because as it comes in, how is it going to be divvied up? How is it going to be used? Some of the ways for measuring broadband, and that was an article that I have here now, says measuring broadband should no longer be binary. You know, either you have or you don't have. And that's something that we really should look at because the FCC is going to be measuring broadband access, and that's going to determine on who still needs some funding for their infrastructure. Part of what I was reading in there is that a lot of times if there was one connection in a census tract, then those people had access to the internet. It didn't mean that everybody had it. If one household in that census tract had it, it was labeled as they have access. So we have to look at the way that it's being determined if our neighborhoods, if our community has broadband access. And then having the cables in the ground, the fiber ran, the wireless connections up there, is that access, or do we have to look at the hardware, the connectivity that people are using? How many, when we found out that the kids had to stay home from school through the pandemic, I was actually with some parents or a teacher that was working with some kids, and they had a computer at home. They had high-speed internet, but there were 3 kids there. So it's 3 people got to go to class, and you've got 1 computer, or you've got 1 laptop. That's not having access. That's not the access that you needed to really get things done because all 3 of them can't go to 3 different classes on that. And then if you bring home the other laptops, you have to make sure how much broadband capacity do you really have? Because now you're putting more load on your internet. So there's a lot of things to look at, not to say that everybody didn't have it, but when you're measuring it, it's not to just say that you have access or that you have internet to the house. That doesn't make us digitally connected. That doesn't mean that we're becoming digitally literate. We've got to look deeper into what we're doing. You know, we've got to look at it's not just like having a phone in your house and you say everybody's got a phone. Even when they started that, as I said, when we started that connectivity, everybody didn't get a telephone. There was a lot of rural areas, there were a lot of low-income areas that didn't get telephones for a long time and didn't have the same access that others had with the phone. Well, now with the internet, it's even more important to have that access. So just having the internet in a neighborhood does not guarantee access for everybody. Yes, we know that people have to put forth some effort too, but we want to make sure that that effort is being driven by our needs and our input of the things we need. So we're not just talking about giving away a bunch of computers. We're not just talking about making sure there's broadband brought to every house, but the whole picture of how we will connect this country, how we will connect communities, tribal lands, rural communities. How will the United States be connected so that we can have the internet for uses throughout the communities? So that's something that is needed. It's something that's going to be beneficial to the country, and we've got to get involved with it. So think about that as you're here. They're having meetings. The state of Missouri has already put out some papers that they're looking for input from the community on how to spend what we will do with this broadband infrastructure funding. Grants are becoming available for organizations, for cities, for counties, for everyone. So in your county, in your city, in the organization that you're working with, how can you help or how can you use this grant funding to improve the community. It needs everybody's input. We don't want to say that it's just the college professors or it's just the politicians. We've got to have the clergy involved. We've got to have regular homeowners involved. We got to have the renters involved. We need to have everybody involved in how we're going to make this broadband infrastructure real. And it can't be determined by just how much money you have. You know, what's the most affluent area? And, you know, we got to look at connectivity. We've got to look at that. So, you know, that's something that's coming up. We want to make sure that we're looking into the policies that are developed and how they're going to be developed, because it's going to make a difference in our future for a long time to come. What we do with this infrastructure bill now could be a big step forward, or it could be more of the same, that you'll have the haves and the have-nots. So let's get involved with it. Let's look at it. Let's go to some of the meetings. Let's make sure that this broadband opportunity doesn't slip through the cracks, and then you still sit back and say, why come there's this disparity throughout the country? So we want to make sure that we do that. Hey, another thing that I was talking about earlier was the violence going on in the community, and I wanted to look at that as we go forward, because I think that the two are not mutually exclusive. Some of the violence, some of the things that happen in our community also are part of, what do I want to say, the whole system that we're in. So we have to look at that. Broadband access, jobs, all of that can help out with the things that we're working on. And we've got to be part of that change. You got to be part of the change. All of the community has to be part of the change. And that's what we want to do. We want you to contact the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. Look us up on the web, www.bftaa.org. Go to our Facebook page. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. Contact the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and find out how you can help close this digital divide, bring more digital equity in the communities, work with this broadband infrastructure project. All right? All right. Okay, another thing that I'm working on, I'm still waiting on this temperature to start dropping, and it hasn't started dropping in here. I had to get a little water. Yeah, just to cool off a little bit. But yeah, we're doing some great things around here. We've got a lot of good shows. We hope that you'll enjoy what we have coming on tonight. Tonight we have B. Michael. He brings Shifting Paradigms. He's going to be in studio live. Want you to come on, chat, listen to him, check it out. And tomorrow, our terrific Tuesday lineup, we want you to check that out too. We'll start with Senior Moments and Millie, where she's going to be fixing some meals or doing some cooking that she does every week right there on KUAW radio. And then we're going to go into T-Baby with Truth Be Told. We'll have the Source of the Inkwell. And then we're going to finish, that's what Tyrone Gathers. And then we're going to finish the night with Lene Gray and the Lene Gray Show. So she will be on, and she's going to come in, and right now she's broadcasting or she's having some stand-in, sit-in for, but she's actually in Ghana. And she'd have been on last week, but they were having trouble with their internet. They got an infrastructure issue they have to work with over in Ghana also. Plus, there's a time difference. So when we do her show at 8 o'clock here, I think she says like 12 or 1 in the morning in Ghana. You know, so she has to stay up super late in order to do a show. But I've been texting with her, and I'm going to have her do some recordings and see if she can transmit those. Of course, if the internet is spotty, it may be hard to transmit some, but I'm going to have her do a few recordings and see if she can send them over to us earlier and we can play them through her show, because I don't want her to have to stay up till 1 in the morning just to do the show. So we're hoping that she's enjoying herself, she's learning a lot about the motherland, and we will hope to hear from her tomorrow night. But those are some of the shows that are on. Also, we'll go into Thursday with the Cognition Show. Speaking the Unspeakable. And we're looking at bringing in some new shows. We have one of our shows that was on that's looking at coming back, and that was our sports show. Brian was here last week. You know, we used to have a sports show. It had a couple of different names, and I don't know if he's going to come back with the same name or not, but the sports show may be back. We're trying to see what hours we can get him in. And what was the name of that sports show? Somebody remember that name. Put it up on Facebook for me. But that show was on for a couple of years. Brian and Gritty started it off, and then Gritty left, and Brian was bringing in with some guest hosts to work with him on the sports show. So we're looking at bringing that sports show back, and we're just trying to find the opening or where it would fit good into our lineup. So that's something that I want you to stay tuned to. Also, we're working to continually improve KUAW, the listening that you have. I hope you've been listening to some of our old school broadcasts. We also have the Heavy Storm that has been coming in. We got BJ Murphy's show. We got Warren Ballantyne's show. So we have a lot that you can listen to 24 hours a day on our audio side, and we hope that you would take advantage and listen to some of those shows that we have coming on. A lot of these are nationally syndicated shows. Some of them are entrepreneurs starting off just like KUAW and looking to spread their shows to other audiences and stuff. So be sure and check out KUAW throughout the week, throughout the day. You can pick us up on your phone. You can pick us up on any Bluetooth connected, Wi-Fi connected device. You just search for KUAW. And you can hear us. You can transfer it over to your car speakers. I was driving down here. I was listening to KUAW all the way from Liberty, Missouri to Grandview. You can pick us up. So, you know, we want you to be able to enjoy some of the things that we have coming on. We're going to be bringing some more music to you. We've got some new music, not new music, some new old music, because I do a lot of old school. Got some new old school music that I'm going to start loading in that you'll be able to check out. So that's coming. So we got a lot of things that are going on right here at KUAW Radio, and we hope that you will take advantage to it. Now, one of the things, as I was telling you, I was reading, we met a lady, Miss Francella Ochillo, and she had a book, a paper she did. You see that? Yeah, the economic consequences and generational impact of the digital divide. So I'm going to be going over this, and next week I'm going to bring you some information that we got from her thinkings, and that was Dr. Francella Ochillo. And she came here, the Kansas City Digital Inclusion Coalition that brought her here, and we were over at the Village KC, and it was a nice presentation. It was a good group of people that came in and had a great time there. And that's the thing. You have to get out and network. You got to network with other people, other like-minded people, and then sometimes with people that aren't, say, as like-minded as we'd want them to be, but they have opinions, and we want to make sure that we bring in all the different voices that are out in the community. So we got together with them, people from Urban Tech were there, and there were some other people. As you work in the nonprofit and digital world, you start seeing some of the same faces, sometimes at the same events, sometimes at different events. We run into each other. There are a lot of good nonprofits that are working to help end this digital divide, and we would hope that you would support each and every one of them. You know, because we're not working against one another, and I'm not jealous of one another. It's about trying to lift up the community. There's enough enough work out there to be done that no one group is able to do it all. The Kansas City Public Library has been doing a heavy lift on closing the digital divide. Esteem Village has been doing a great job in closing the digital divide. We Code KC is a growing group that is doing great things. Urban Tech, the list goes on and on and on about organizations that are helping in the urban core and in the suburbs too. So, you know, if you want to get involved, as I was saying earlier, we need to have more volunteers. BFTAA is looking for volunteers, and we'll take financial support, but we actually need some boots on the ground. Yeah, we need some people that want to. If you can donate a couple of hours a month, a couple of hours on Saturdays, be here with the kids, we would appreciate it. And if you have a talent or an ability that you want to bring down, we'd appreciate to have that also. But we'd love to have you get involved with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We'd like to have people. I mean, we love money, we love donations, don't get me wrong, but we also love the one-on-one contact, the working with kids face to face, because that's a lot of what our young people need to see, is that people care. People in the community care. Somebody cares. Somebody wants you to learn. Somebody's expecting something out of you. You know, give them that opportunity to show you what they can do, how they can be better, how they can shine. You know, we all like to have some attention. So let's see if we can come together and work with our kids. And we hope that you would join the Black Family Technology Awareness Association in doing that. You know, there's a lot of things coming up. We're into the summer months. People are vacationing. Matter of fact, I will be out of here the week of the 28th through the 2nd July, so I won't be here Monday after next. We have a family reunion that I'm going to down in Houston, Texas, and I really hope to enjoy myself at that, because it's always good to get together with family. Family is very important. So we have a lot of things. People are visiting. People come from out of town. We get to go out of town. So, hey, it's summertime, and I hope everybody is taking advantage and enjoying this summertime. And don't forget, summertime is still a time for learning. You can take your kids to science events. There's museums that you can visit. Some of the, even in the other cities, when you travel to other cities, look and see what their science museum is like. I mean, you may have been to Science City in Kansas City, but I've been to science cities, or not science cities, they may call them other STEM places in St. Louis, in, I think it was Indiana, a few other places that we've been, and there are great museums that kids need to see with a lot of hands-on stuff that they can do. So, you know, we were in Phoenix one time, and we went to a big science event out there when we were visiting our granddaughter in the summer. So look for places that you can take your kids or cousins, nephews, grandkids, any of them to, where they can have fun, but they can also learn too. That's always good, because science doesn't have to always be in a lab or in a classroom or in a book. Science can be right out there in the open, in the world. When you go out into the woods, when you go fishing, when you go camping or any of that, there's a lot of science around you right there. There's a lot of things that you can do, and you can get some ideas if you go to some of the sites that have projects that you can work on. As we show all the time that NASA, and I think I'll bring that up next week, is NASA's site for experiments and stuff that you can do with your kids or your kids can do on their own. That may be a good thing to show, because summer is all about half over with right now, but there's still a lot of things if your kids are at home and you want to get them involved in something that helps stimulate their brain and they can have fun with, then we're going to show you that. We're going to bring some of that up next week, and hopefully we may even try and do an experiment live on air. I can get myself in trouble there, but I'll put it out now, is that I'll look over the experiments and see if there's one that I can set up and do right here in the studio. So stay tuned. Next week we're going to try and show kids some science that they can do, and we'll actually try and do one of the science experiments right here at KUAW Radio. Yes, I said it. I'm going to do it. I may have to try and drag my wife down here as my assistant, and she can work with me. But we'll look over some at home and see if there's a experiment that can be exciting and fun, and we'll bring it down here so that you can see it and maybe work on it with your children at times. It's always fun to do so, even if they don't go right. You never know what effect that may have on young people. It doesn't always have to work and go off perfect for them to see something that interests them or something that sticks in their mind and that encourages them that, yeah, you can mess up and still keep going. So that's my show for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is the BFTAA and More show. I am your host, Louis George Walker. We're coming from the studios of KUAW Radio, located in the WEB Du Bois Learning Center, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard in Kansas City, Missouri. We're glad that you're here. You're picking us up wherever you may be around the world. We're just glad that you're listening, that you're checking us out. Like and share KUAW. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe to us. Share if you're on Facebook and you're picking this up. I'll try to see what's going on with my Twitter connection because I wasn't up on Twitter right now, but I didn't want to keep on working with it while we had other things to do. But keep listening to KUAW. We love your support. We want to thank all of you who are making donations. We're getting donations regularly. Sometimes it's $10, $12, $15, things like that. And it's really gratifying to say that somebody is supporting what we're doing. You know, they may not know us or any of that, but they do want to support what we are doing. So we're so glad that you do reach out to us. You can make donations from our webpage. If you go there, there's a donate button that you can push on it. It'll take you to our PayPal account. You can donate from your credit card. You can also mail us check. If you don't want to donate through Facebook and YouTube, put a check in the mail. Address it to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, or BFTAA, at Post Office Box 300-166, Kansas City, Missouri 64130. So that's BFTAA, or Black Family Technology Awareness Association, at Post Office Box 300-166, Kansas City, Missouri 64130. So, yes, we'd love to have you support the work we're doing. As I say, we're getting ready to really try and refurbish a room for robotics. We're wanting to have everything ready by the time school start time is sharp. We've only got a few weeks, so it's going to probably be a working process as we go. But contact us. Help support what we're doing. Find out what you can do or your group or organization can do to help us with the room. Maybe you can come help tear up the carpet off the floors or do some painting or scrape the walls, anything like that. We would appreciate any help that you can be. So if you're looking for a project for your fraternity or sorority or for your motorcycle club or what have you, we could use the help. We can use your bodies in here, and the young people will be so appreciative. So give us a holler. This is it for me. This is your host, Louis George Walker. I'm glad that you joined me today. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to try and do that experiment on the air. And at 6 o'clock, be ready for B. Michael. B. Michael Long is going to be on with Shifting Paradigms right here at KUAW Radio. Then we've got some of that old school music that's going to come in after that. And we've got some smooth jazz from Kenny G, Sade, and local people like Max Groove. So we play all of that right here, KUAW Radio. Check us out. Like us. All right. We'll see you next week.